Welcome to the Marketing Mixtape Podcast, hosted by me, Brittany Winfield of the Winfield Creative. If you have a burning marketing question, submit it at speakpipe.com/marketingmixtape, and we'd love to get it answered on a future episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe, baby! And if you're really feeling like it, leave us a review, so that way we can find more listeners just like you. But for now, sit tight, because now it's time for the Marketing Mixtape Podcast. Let's go! Hey there, it's Brittany here from the Winfield Creative, your host of the Marketing Mixtape Podcast. This week, we have a brand new audience-submitted question, and this time it's from Julie Danaher of the Catalyst Realty Collaborative. If you haven't already, make sure to check out Julie's YouTube channel because she gives you all the ins and outs about what Vermont life is like, what the markets are looking like, and especially if you're thinking about moving to Vermont, she gives you the whole rundown. But let's listen to her marketing question. Thanks for submitting, Julie.
Hi, Brittany. It's Julie Danaher. My question that I am submitting today to you is, with all of the new trends and trending audio and all the different things, how can one who is creating a lot of content continue to be authentic and stand out from the crowd without feeling like they're copying everyone else's trends? So I'm looking for some inspiration and ideas about how to continue to be authentic, true to myself, without also getting distracted by the different trends that make me feel like I have to sing and dance. Thanks so much.
This is a great question because you definitely don't want to be a copycat, and I totally get it about not wanting to sing and dance online because I'm not about that either. Trust me, if I tried to, I would have 0 followers still. So, in this episode, let's talk about how to stay true to yourself, stay authentic to your brand and to your personal culture. And Julie, especially for you, you provide realty services. So, when somebody's choosing a realtor, they're choosing Julie for a reason. So let's talk about how to stand out, stay true to yourself, and still hop on trends, but do it in a way that really still aligns with your business goals and aligns to your, uh, you know, aesthetic that you want to keep on your social media profile. And I'll show you exactly how to stay inspired so that way you are doing a mix of both trendy content that will get you reach, get you in that cycle of people are already looking for these topics, so they'll find your content easier, and a mix and blend of original content because that's important also. The algorithm does prioritize original content even more than trendy content because they want to keep people on the platform. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever platform you're posting on, it's a business to make money. So they want to keep people on the platform. And original content does that. But it's not always a bad thing to use trends in your content marketing plan. So that way you are giving yourself a little head start with the people, the users, in finding your content. So we'll get into all of that in this episode, but let's start with how to stand out and still stay true to your authentic self online. Whenever I start working with, especially a new client that is new to social media, some of the questions that you need to answer for yourself is, what value do I want to provide people that are visiting my account? Not just the individual content, not just the individual reel, but overall, what do you want to be known for online? So at the Winfield Creative, for example, I enjoy creating content that teaches people what the trends are, teaches people how to save time, save money, save effort on their social media platform. And it provides education to people. So oftentimes that is what service providers lean on rather than product-based businesses who are more promoting, their products. But service providers, it's important to talk about what makes you different? What is the value? How are you delivering that value to your customers, your leads, aka your followers? Your followers should be seen as potential leads. And so, Julie, I challenge you to think about, how do you want people to perceive you and in what way? That leads into the tone of voice that you deliver your content, that leads into the actual content that you want to teach them. And it might take a little bit of testing to figure this out. It might take a little bit of testing to see what you are comfortable with, what type of content and how you, present the content. So whether you put out a graphic or film a reel, what saves you time in the content creation process. And also, you want to pay attention to what is landing with people, because I follow Julie. I know a lot about what is in her content marketing plan because she's done a mentor in your pocket session with the Winfield Creative. Quick plug. So I've actually helped Julie and her team create a plan to figure out what type of content is landing with more people. And so it's really important to do this type of A B testing so that way you see, is it when I'm talking about different community events for families? Is it when I'm talking about what the market graphs are, which is a little bit more, it's not as evergreen content. Evergreen content is content that people are continuously looking for. This is often addressing different pain points, different struggles that your clients are dealing with, community based events, and the content that is about market trends, that's a little bit more trendy within your niche. It's time limited. So think about that too, is what type of content would you like to provide? I always recommend a mix of them because you want to be an authority within the trendy topics that you're talking about in your content plan, but you also want to provide that education that the evergreen content will continuously be getting results, and people will be continuously looking at and for that content through the search engine. So I recommend a mix of it, but play around and see what type of delivery, what type of visuals, what type of content type, so reels versus graphics, what type of topics lands with people. And remember that relatability is so key. So I recommend an exercise. Sit down at your desk with a pen and paper. That's right, we're going to go old school for this, and write down some of the pain points that your clients deal with. It's probably low housing opportunities because there's such high demand. It's probably picking a realtor that has certain characteristics. It's probably not knowing enough about the state that you might be moving to. It's a whole bunch of things depending on the clients that you serve. So create a list of what type of feelings, what type of emotions can you address in your content? How can you really find relatability in what their journey is, what their customer journey is? So, especially if you're a service provider that maybe you had these issues in the past, your career that you're doing now was inspired by a struggle and a journey that you went through, take yourself into the mindset of what it was like as that former version of yourself and some of the struggles that you went through. And so write that down, and that will be the starting roadmap to finding relatability with potential people looking at your profile and your content. So once you do the A B testing, you figure out through the data, looking at your insights as to, what is getting more reach, what is getting more impressions and clicks and engagements, more comments. Take the number one thing and run with it. Take whatever that piece of content is and run with it. And think about, how can I recreate this just in a different way? So if it was a reel that talks about different communities in Vermont, like the best towns to live in Vermont with the best school systems, for example, run with that. Keep making content that is repeatable, that uses the same structure, the same type of tone of voice, the same caption. basically use that as your template to create more content just like that. You already know it lands with people. Just switch out the content that's within that. So you're remaining authentic to the original piece of content that you created. It already helped you stand out. Now keep going with that same type of content, and you'll be able to create a social media marketing plan that speaks volumes to your character and really stays true to the value that you want to provide to your followers. And now that we talked about original content and how to create that and really get into that routine of figuring out what works for your content marketing plan, let's talk about trends, because it's not the worst thing to hop on trends. It's just you don't want to rely on it because, as I said in the beginning, the algorithm relies on original content. But trendy content gets you a head start, especially with people engaging with your content earlier than original content. So, let's talk about how to find trendy content, how to find trendy content in a way that you're not copying other people, and how to properly hop on trends so that way you are still remaining true to your authentic self online. The easiest way to hop on trends is to follow social media managers that do what you do and that do not do what you do. So it's often suggested that we follow accounts that are our role models. So usually these are people that are within our industry that we aspire to be. That's good and that's great. However, it could be extremely tempting to say to yourself, I wish I came up with that reel. Like, how can I do this in a way that is not directly copying them? Trust me, I've said this to myself before. I tell myself all the time, like, I wish I came up with it first. So, my workaround around this, in order to find inspirations but still hop on trends, is to follow people that are role models, but people that are not within your industry. And oftentimes, I would say social media managers are the way to go. And that's not just because I am a social media manager, but these are the people that already have the intel as to what's trendy. Maybe you find an account that is not a social media manager. That is okay too. What I recommend is going onto Instagram, going onto the platform that you're looking to grow on, and go find big accounts that are specifically doing reels really, really well. And I would even say and challenge you to expand this to TikTok, because oftentimes we see TikToks doing it first, and it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for Instagram to get their act together and for the trend to come over to that app. So, even more so, if you want to be an early bird, early trendsetter on Instagram, get your butt over to TikTok and follow people that are catchy with the trends and would be sharing trends to share and how to spin it to the perspective of your brand and for your industry. Follow different people within your niche industry and to follow people that are sharing what we call cap cut templates, which is how you create these reels that are a little bit more humorous, but it's actually a very unique strategy when it comes to social media marketing to bring light to struggles and pain points of your clients, of your followers, without directly pointing it out. So once you're scrolling on your Reels newsfeed and you find something that you really like, maybe it's a trendy song or a voiceover or a pop culture reference that you feel like your followers would enjoy, something that aligns with your personality, your online persona, think about it, look at it for a second and think, if there's like text on the reel itself, think about how can I spin this in the perspective of my brand? You will see that people do this all the time. And that's how reels can come off as original. But if you were one of the first ones to do it within your industry, then that makes you a trendsetter. And that actually, you're helping fuel the trend, but in the context of your industry, it's actually bringing light to more original content, if that makes sense. So go look on your Reels Explore page, which is that news feed that's specific to Reels, and take like 5 minutes to scroll, no more than that, because we really don't want to be spending that much time looking for content to create. We want to actually create the content. So if you go scroll through that Reels and you hear a sound or you see somebody doing something and you're like, oh, I could totally recreate that, but for my brand, that is how you can remain authentic, create trendy content, but not be a copycat about it. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Marketing Mixtape Podcast, brought to you by the Winfield Creative. If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you could like and subscribe and leave a review and do all the things so that way we can find more people just like you. And if you still have burning marketing questions that you want answered, be sure to submit them now at speakpipe.com/marketingmixtape. Until next time, this is Brittany Winfield with the Winfield Creative, signing off. And this has been another episode of the Marketing Mixtape Podcast with me, Brittany Winfield of the Winfield Creative. Remember that you should submit your burning marketing questions over at speakpipe.com/marketingmixtape, and you too can be featured on a future episode. Thank you so much to Julie Danaher for submitting your question. It was great to get some answers over to you, and I hope that you can incorporate some of these strategies in order to keep doing trendy content, but to remain true to yourself, because that's really what it's all about, and that's what will gain you loyal, dedicated followers who want to hear from you specifically. Until next time, I will see you later. Bye.